And it's really important for everyone to understand too, like you might not actually have the title of project manager in the military or even in the civilian sector. But if you are initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, adjusting, and closing initiatives that have a start and an end date, right? And that deliver value, unique value to the organization, then you are managing projects. So every professional is going to manage projects. Not every professional is credentialed. Welcome to the Military Transition Academy podcast. We are back with another episode, and today we are going to talk about the Master Project Leadership Workshop. So if you've heard about the MPLW and thought, I kind of get it, but not really sure, this episode is for you. So I'm sitting down with three fantastic instructors who work with the students inside the program every single day. And we're going to walk through what the MPLW actually looks like, what people do week to week, and who tends to get the most out of it. We're just going to have an honest conversation to help you decide if it's something that you should be paying attention to. So, Aaron, Fred, Michael, welcome to the show. Aaron, why don't you start with yourself and introduce yourself to the audience?
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome. Thank you for having me, Misty. My name is Aaron McKevers, and I am the site lead and senior MPLW instructor here at Fort Bliss. I've been in this role instructing the Master Project Leadership Workshop since mid-May of 2024, and that was right as I was retiring. So I was very blessed to not only be a student in this wonderful program and a graduate from the very first cohort, but the timing was right, and I was fortunate to land the position that I have, and it's been a huge privilege of mine. I couldn't have chosen a better post-Army career to fall into what basically I get to. I'm doing what I love, still being a leader, helping veterans transition while also being an instructor, a teacher in the classroom, and I'm extremely proud to be here.
Fred?
Awesome alumni. So Fred Claro, got out of military, transitioned out of military about a year ago. Went through the program. Actually, Aaron was one of my instructors, which I was very fortunate to have. And I also had the opportunity to be offered the position as an instructor with Vets2PM. I was a retired sergeant major, and I always loved helping soldiers. That was one of the things that I loved about my job. And just being connected to the military community with my background and what I had to offer. So when I was offered the opportunity to work for Vets2PM as an instructor and continue to help out veterans and transitioning service members, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want to do, because I loved it so much in the military that I wanted to continue to do it. So yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here and got to do what I'm doing.
Michael, bring it home. Who are you?
Hello, I'm Michael Hughes. I am a veteran and I've been out since 2013. So I went through the program also January 2025, and I'm back here in Fort Bliss. Even though I got out of Fort Bliss, they didn't have this program back then. This was 2013, right? So they didn't have a lot of opportunities for us veterans when we got out to transition nicely, or, just efficiently, or get out with something for the future. But when I came back here, my husband's here now, he's stationed here, and we got here 2024 and actually went to a different program to learn about their program, but it didn't seem a fit for me. And the lady next to me mentioned that her husband was going through Vets2PM and he loved it. So I was like, okay, let me look into it. And that's how I got into it.
Yeah, and at Vets2PM, help you identify your transferable skill set. We help you validate it with professional credentials in a way where employers and civilians understand your unique value add. And then we help you show and tell via the resume, the interview, and LinkedIn. And then what the MPLW does, it's a career skills program or DoD skill bridge, and it connects you to the civilian sector in a way where you get to understand what the civilian sector requires. And most military service members are getting out of the military with a project management skill set. And so the MPLW, the Master Project Leadership Workshop, it allows you to take that skill set and validate it with 3 professional credentials. And so let's start there. Aaron, talk to us about MPLW. So we know it's Army approved, right? Army approved career skills program. It's a DoD skill bridge program as well, if you can get approved. It's at Fort Bliss, at Fort Campbell, and soon we will come out with a virtual option as well. But tell us a little bit about the MPLW.
Also, add to all that, VA approved here at Fort Bliss, Texas. So So one of the funding pathways that our students can use is their GI Bill and VR&E. Did I say that right? VR&E, yeah.
Yep.
So the incredible value that they're all already getting. Add to that, they're not paying out of pocket, right? Because if you were to go and pay for the training and the credentialing out of your own pocket, you're talking thousands of dollars, right? So add to that what you're getting over that 60-day course. What traditional PMP, ACP, PSM students are getting is you're getting continued access and continued repetitions and exposure to that material. One of the biggest issues that we have when we talk about certifying our students in project management is other organizations, other situations, they get the mandatory contact hours, and it's like, okay, hey, good luck. Let us know if you pass. Best of luck to you. But what our students get is they get that access to those instructors for 60 days plus. They get lifelong access to the material. We're not just training from slides and saying, hey, here's the things that we've got to teach you so you're equipped to pass the examinations. We are expanding their contact of networks when it comes to, hey, who do you need to speak to get in a position at this organization? Who's working over here that you can connect with? So we're all about connecting and leverage. We're all about expanding our students' networks because that is probably your biggest asset when it comes to landing post-military careers that are meaningful and lucrative. Is how big is your network, right? Because you have two options. You can leverage that network, or you can just submit applications and resumes like everybody else. And you tell me how you feel when you get to about 302 callbacks, because the money is in the network. We're also, in addition to doing that, we're doing the career skills training. We're making sure that our students are prepared with a professionally written resume. They have the interview skills. They've got an optimized LinkedIn that looks professional and can communicate to recruiters the same things that their resumes are communicating. But we're also doing hands-on work, so to speak, in the classroom with project management. So now not only do they know how to leverage their military experience as project managers, which most of them don't really know they have. I didn't know. I was one of them. And when I was told, hey, you were a project manager, and I kind of went backwards and I was like, yeah, I've been a project manager for 10,
Yeah.
15 years, right?
Our
But they're
entire
getting
career.
hands-on. Right, exactly. They're doing live project work that is meaningful, and it helps them not only pass examinations, which are outcomes that we're seeking, but also the ultimate or outputs. But the ultimate outcome is they can now leverage that into uh, a civilian project manager job. That's what we're really shooting for.
All right, Fred, project management. What is the definition of project management? You're telling me that most military members are walking out with a project management skill set? What do you mean by that?
So as you know, Misty, so project essentially anything that has a beginning and that has an end, right? So there's a lot more to that, right? So here, especially within project management and within our courses, we don't hide behind the theory of project management. People are expected to show up. They're expected to make decisions. They're expected to communicate clearly, and they have to own their outcomes. So there's work that has to be done not only for those certifications, but for the live projects that Aaron was talking about. So it's just like a real job. And where a lot of service members and transitioning service members realize that, hey, I have these skills, I just don't know how to put them into civilian speak, for lack of better terms, right? And that's what we show them during that for project management. We show them, hey, this is what you did in the military. This is the terms that we use in the military. This is what this is what it looks like in the civilian world. And as you know, project management, or a project manager, for example, it's a functional position, but it's also a career. But different organizations have those, have the job descriptions when they're out looking for careers, and just teaching them that project management is just not, you're not going out just looking for a project manager job. You're looking at for those functions that we teach you that you already had the skill set for that you had while you were in the military. So I think that's one of the biggest things you can that we teach these service members as they're transitioning out, what project management is and how is it they fill that role, whether it be in a functional role or be within a responsibility role.
Yeah, and it's really important for everyone to understand too. Like, you might not actually have the title of project manager in the military or even in the civilian sector. But if you are initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, adjusting, and closing initiatives that have a start and an end date, right, and that deliver value, unique value to the organization, then you are managing projects. So every professional is going to manage projects. Not every professional is credentialed. So, Michael, take us through the credentials. So, in the 60-day program, whether you do it at Fort Bliss or Fort Campbell, you have the opportunity to earn 3 credentials. So, take us through those credentials and the order and why maybe we do it that way.
Okay, so the first one is the PSM, which is the Professional Scrum Master. And then we go for the ACP, which is Agile Certified Practitioner, and then PMP, Project Management Professional. We do in that order because PMP actually has Agile in it. And a lot of products are becoming more hybrid. So you have to know those Agile things, right? And the reason that it's so good to go through Vets2PM is because we actually help you turn your military experience into civilian talk. But why is that important for PMI to get their PMP and ACP is because you have to apply to take those tests. You can't just go on there and take a test. So we help you turn your experience into product management experience for the application so you can actually take the tests.
Yeah, and for the PMP and for the ACP, you do have to apply to actually sit for the exam. And the qualifications are different for each exam. But essentially, think of it this way. A lawyer goes to school for 4 years and then takes a bar exam prep course to pass the bar. A nurse goes to school for 4 years and then takes an NCLEX exam prep course to pass the NCLEX, right? A project manager has 36 to 60 months of experience and then goes and takes the credential to become a certified project manager. You get the credential to put it at the end of your name, just like a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer. And so it's a true credential that is globally recognized. And a lot of government contracts, federal contracts now require a PMP to be on the job site or on that contract. And they say in 2030, PMI says that we are going to be short project managers. So when people are trying to decide which career skills program to go through or which DoD skill bridge to go through, or if you're using a different funding option, why should you go through Vets2PM? Aaron, tell us why you wanted to go through this program when you heard about it at Fort Bliss.
So going back to my story, it would have been November of 2023. I was in Poland, and I kind of had a little bit of a panic sitting in my barracks room at VCTC there in Poland. I was like, oh, holy cow, I retire in like 9 months, and I figured I needed to do something, and I didn't know what it was that I needed to do. I knew I needed to get some credentialing, I needed to get some experience, I needed to try to figure out what my career path was going to be post Army. And I was looking through the Army CA website, and I was looking at the authorized vendors, and I came across Vets2PM, and I just happened to click the drop down on courses, and I saw Master Project Leadership Workshop. And I didn't know what that meant, but it sounded like my thing. It sounded like my jam.
Master Project. Okay. Yeah, cool.
yeah. So I was like, leadership, that's my thing, right? That's what really fires me up is discussions about leadership and endeavoring to become a better leader. And I was interviewed for a position in the initial cohort, and in talking with the individual that was interviewing me, that's when the epiphany really came about. When I'm looking for my post-military career path that best suits my experience and my skill level, it was project manager, because it was in that discussion and that back and forth. Like, no, I wasn't a project manager. I was a non-commissioned officer. I was an armor crewman. I was a tanker. I was a drill sergeant. All of these things. I was an instructor. But when you actually break it down, I did so many projects that were temporary, time bound, and they were delivering a unique product, service, or result. that was kind of a light bulb moment for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a project manager. I didn't think of it in those terms. And then when I went back for my application to apply for the my PMI exams, I went back for 10 years, and they were like, okay, that's good. You've got enough
Yeah.
experience. But I was like, I can keep going, because even though you have an operational job, you have a career field in the military, you're constantly doing things that are temporary in nature, that are driving or delivering value or process improvements for your organization. If you're not doing those, you're the exception. But if you have a career in any branch of the military, I promise you, you're doing projects. So why not partner with an organization that is going to help you leverage those, translate those skill sets and that experience into that lucrative and meaningful post army or post service career?
Yeah, and we're 11 years strong, 19,000 students, and or 19,000 served, 8,000 students, and we have a pretty high first time pass rate, but we're not allowed to say it out loud. So, but Fred, take us through what the program looks like. And so, now we know that most service members are walking out of the service with a project management skill set. So we've identified it. So now we know we can validate it within this 60-day program, 3 project management certifications that are globally recognized. So once they're in the program, they get the approval, whatever it may be. Take us through, what does it look like? What do they do?
So, so everything starts at day one, right? So obviously the different locations have some flexibility on how they actually work in different classrooms.
Yep.
And it's also very dependent on the audience you have, right? You kind of gauge the audience, you gauge the transitioning service members. Sometimes you have senior members in the classroom that have a little bit more experience than some of the junior classroom, and you kind of may want to pair them up. At least that's how we work at Fort Campbell, for the more experience, so they can kind of sort of coach and mentor each other and work off each other's strengths and weaknesses. But week one, essentially, we right into the professional Scrum Master certification. So we start day one with that. We start with kind of an icebreaker at first. So I think they call it, I believe Aaron calls it Kokomo at Fort Bliss. So we go through those exercises. We're doing the icebreaker. Really excited students are obviously excited to be there because now it's something different. They're excited because they're transitioning out. But there are some that tend to be a little bit more cautious and unsure how they fit into the actual group. And you can feel for those members that are a little bit more introverted, if you will. When they start the program, it's almost like a surprise for them. But then they start realizing, since we start off kind of like Michael was stating, because we start off at each certification builds upon one another. The Scrum certification, we start having them do a product backlog right from the very beginning, what they need to do, developing them through each stage, do some kind of sprint planning, all the way into the definition of done, creating user stories. So they're actually doing the practical application while they're actually learning it on week one. Week two, we go directly into that agile mindset. Well, because they've already learned Scrum,
yep.
They already know almost all of agile already. They just have to learn all the other different 100 other methodologies that are out there and within agile. But during that time frame, like you mentioned earlier within the podcast, right? They're working on the resume building. They're working. We have the whole career services team that helps them with the resume building. We have the LinkedIn optimization. We help them with interview skills. Those that are a little bit weaker in interview skills, we pair them up. At least at Fort Campbell, we help them pair them up with whenever there's extra time within the class to help them with their interviews, especially if there's an interview that's coming up. So we put them in an actual formal format where some of the other class members have created boards in the past. My last cohort had created a board for one individual. I was a little nervous about their interview. And so we just did a really quick mock 15-minute interview. We went through that process. Week 3 and 4 is like the real big, it's where really we're studying, but we're still working on resumes. We're putting out, we're also one of the things that we're really good at, we have our career fairs that we hold with Vets2PM, but we're also bringing in, because we're also a DoD skill-based program, we also have employees we're bringing in, recruiters, headhunters, and we're putting all these transition service members, kind of like Aaron mentioned, right, expanding their network, if you will. And we had the luxury of actually bringing some project managers into to speak to the students of what it's actually like to be a project manager in the civilian world, rather than what they experience within being in the military. Week 5, they go into they start working on their certification for the PMP, and then and this next cohort, because we're into a 60-day program, 6, 7, and 8. Again, continue resume building, interviewing skills, perfecting that LinkedIn optimization, if you will. But also during that time, and you're working on those live project on our projects while they're in, they're still they're studying during that time frame to make sure that that they were actually working on getting that certification.
Yeah, so 60 days, it's a complete career preparation course, right? And so you're not only identifying your skill set, you're not only validating it, but you're learning how to actually show and tell it. And that is done throughout the entire course. You're able to put it into action with those live projects. We're connecting you to employers, to other people, and you also build a network within your own cohort. And so obviously we want everyone to come into the program, but Michael, they have to apply. So as we wrap up, tell us who's eligible, who should apply, and who we serve.
Okay, our main people we serve are, of course, the transitioning service members. Okay, so they can do it, and you want to be 180 days out from your date. And then also, we also include spouses. Okay, it's not just veterans, it could be your spouse too. Like I was a sit-at-home spouse, I wasn't doing anything but on the weekends. So I was like, I need something to do, and I wanted to do something different. So I went to Vets2PM. And then also, if you're a veteran, if you've been out for less than 4 years, you can do that also.
Yeah, and it is an application process. And so you can find the application process on our website at vets2pm.com/MPLW, or you can just go to the courses tab and you will see the Master Project Leadership Workshop. And right now, what you're seeing right here are 4 people that the product works, right? So I'm a product of Vets2PM exam prep, and you guys are a product of the MPLW. And we know what we're talking about. 11 years strong, 19,000 served, right? And we have about an 80% job selection rate. And obviously, that is very dependent on the individual. But our goal is to help you identify your transferable skill set, validate it in a way that others understand. And we do that through professional credentials, right? And then we want to help you show and tell your skill set. So we're going to train you how to write a resume. We're going to train you how to conduct an interview, and we'll train you how to optimize your LinkedIn. And then we're going to connect you to employers that want your unique value add. And we provide you lifetime access, lifetime employment assistance through our job board. And we love what we do. So last round, Aaron, tell them why they should utilize Vets2PM.
I truly feel like we are the only people. This is an extremely unique program. The normally what you get a la carte, so to speak, right? Where we're delivering the 5-course meal. You're getting everything you need in 60 days. You're not spending a few weeks and then months maybe getting this certification. Okay, I got that certification. Now let me move on to the other. Now let me, piece together a decent resume. Let me work on my interview skills. Let me do a little bit of networking. We're putting all that in one setting, and I don't think there's any other organization that's doing what we're doing. And what we're doing is getting results, right? And I don't think anybody's come close to the results that we're getting. But again, I base that off of
We're a little biased.
and a little bit of bias, right? And I'd say that the one thing that this course is missing is more people. I'm extremely happy about what I do, but what I'd love to do is, we're getting a fraction of a percentage of the DD 214s that are issued here at Fort Bliss. I want to help more, right? I want to help more veterans because I'm it's so fulfilling to see the results on the back end when they send me, hey, I got this job offer, and look at the salary that they're starting me out at, and look at the position that I got. I got that because of what I've done in the past and what you helped me package together. So I truly think that there's just it's a pretty clear choice for me. If I had to do it over again, I do nothing different.
Same. Fred, why should they utilize Vets2PM?
So, one of the things that really turned me on about Vets2PM was, and as an alumni, is the factor of the caring piece, right? It's just not, you're just not going to school and you're just showing up, hey, I'm going to go get a certification. It's not like that. You can really tell, at least through my experience as a student, and then I've done my best in my cohort to display the same treatment that I received, through the, what do they call it, the Goldilocks rule or whatever it's called, or, whatever, I can't remember the name of it anyway. But one of the things is the caring piece. It's not, you're just not showing up and like, hey, we're just checking the block. It's not about that. You have veterans that have been in their positions. There's an emotional piece, obviously, when you transition out of the military. You know what to do. There's the unexpected. Well, not only do you have instructors that have been there, that understand that, but they can relate to that. So they can help you through that transition. I mean, so there's a sense of resiliency that helps the transitioning service member say, hey, you've been through there, great. So that kind of solidifies you as number one as a mentor and as a coach, but then you can guide them through that process. Like, hey, man, I've been there, everything's going to be okay. That's the difference. I've been, I'm a life, just a little bit about me. I'm a lifelong learner. I've been in school as long as I can remember. And I've never had instructors like when I went through Vets2PM that sat down with me and actually said, hey, look, this is what you need to do for this. This is what you need to do for that. Giving you that honest feedback that you need, that you should expect when you go out to the civilian world. Hey, this is where we have our practice exams, for example, for the certifications. And this is, you're a little bit weak in this area. That's tailor your studying to this one area. And, you just don't get that one-on-one that Vets2PM offers. And again, I might be a little biased, but that was my experience as a student. And as an instructor, I mirror that too with my students. So that's why I think we should pick anybody, transition service member out there should pick Vets2PM.
Michael, bring us home.
I think that people should choose Vets2PM because, like me, when I got out, I struggled with what to do. And I felt like I had no purpose anymore, or I didn't know where to go because I was a feeler in the military. I'm like, okay, what do I do? But when I found this, I felt like this is really useful for people because you can find purpose, be a product manager where you already did in the military, but you can do in the career field you want to do it. I don't want to do fueling. I'd rather do HR or instruction, something like that. So thankfully I found one for that. But you can do what you want, but kind of do the same thing you did in the military. And then also, like Fred said, you have instructors that are willing to help you. And we create study time even after class. If you want more study time, we have more one-on-one with you. We can have a group study. You have students that you're with that you can study with. If you guys are struggling the same thing, you talk to each other. So I think that's very unique for any program. I think we're very unique in that way.
Yeah, and bottom line, Vets2PM is small and mighty, but we care, and you're going to get individual attention. And we've been there, we've done that, but we also have like 50 plus years of human resources experience on our team as well. We have lots of civilian experience on our team, and so we are talking the talk and walking the walk. So if you are ready to validate your skill set, come on over to Vets2PM, look on our website, look at our courses, but we encourage you to look at the MPLW Career Skills Program or DoD Skill Bridge at Fort Bliss and Fort Campbell. We also have other DoD Skill Bridge opportunities, and you can find that on our website as well. We help you become a project manager, and we also help you achieve a meaningful and lucrative post-service career, and we can't wait to help you. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for listening to the Military Transition Academy podcast by Vets2PM. We release new episodes every Tuesday, so make sure you follow and subscribe wherever you listen. You can catch up on all the previous episodes wherever you download podcasts or watch them on the Vets2PM YouTube channel. To learn more about our programs and upcoming Master Project Leadership Workshop cohorts, visit vets2pm.com. Whether you're a service member, veteran, spouse, or a company looking to hire top military talent, we're here to help you become a project manager or hire one. See you next Tuesday.